Anyway.
Educating Ricky.
Good, we settled that then. Go on.
The titles that are meant to sort of pull you in.
Yeah.
We've got what was it? Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You've got It's Not His Vault. And Get a Load with This.
Get a load of this. So, which pun do I pick first? I think I'll go for, get a load of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah, get a load of this, yeah.
Well, that's a story about a girl who, she was deaf, right, for 4 years. And, it happened quite a bit back this.
What year? Or was it,
I think it was
ages ago, was it?
Yeah, quite a bit back. She was deaf for about 4 years. Having an argument with her mum, it said, which I didn't quite understand. Because I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
But she was having an argument, and a man pushed her against the wall, and she banged her head, and her hearing came back.
Okay.
Was she wearing a Walkman, and it fell out? And she'd realised, well, oh, that's
There's no explanation.
There's no explanation? Well, why is that teaching me something
Right,
then?
so I knew you'd say this, right? So I thought, right, I'll stick something on it. Do you know that bees are deaf?
No! No, you can't just, no! No! If you ask someone something they don't know the answer to, they don't tell you something else. Just, I'll tell you something else then. I can't answer that, I'll tell you something else. Imagine that, if you asked a teacher. Look, how do birds fly? Wow, if you're gonna do that, tallest building is, I mean, what?
Well,
That was the equivalent, Carl, of running away when we asked you a question.
Yeah, the intellectual equivalent of going, look over there, there's a monster.
Yeah.
Listen, what do you mean? What she, okay, so,
So her
there's
hearing
no
came back.
explanation, there's no explanation. Or you don't know.
well, there isn't one, is there, really? It's a bit
What,
weird.
did
But the
doctors,
only
did
thing
the doctors not look into it?
No, I think they just said, oh, that's good.
But, so again, I don't. Where did this information? Is that if you read this on
Is
the net?
that
Is that
it?
all they put on
There
the
was
net?
once a deaf woman who hit her head and she
And her
could hear.
hearing came back.
It was bizarre things about being deaf.
Was there
and-
three
Oh,
like?
yeah.
Was there
I've
three?
got that book, yeah, it's a good book, that.
Was there three
Yeah.
more pages you just couldn't be bothered to read off?
Yeah.
No, it was just a little bit, and it
Was there a
said-
little picture, a cartoon picture?
No pictures, I just
And we
read
going,
it.
ow!
Look,
Ow,
if you
I
don't
can
want to
hear.
know, if you don't want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Okay, it's not his fault. Let me have It's Not His Fault. You gotta save this. This has gotta teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, It's Not His Vault. This fella,
Yeah.
What year? Ages
Olden
ago?
times.
I'd say in the 70s,
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
and
Does he wear flares in the story?
Right,
Is that
this
your
is-
reason?
no, it's a bit like Yori Geller, this fella, right, where he's electric,
He's electric.
and if he walks past the telly would fizz. If he walked past the radio, it all goes like that.
Oh.
His hair stuck up all the time, and he'd be having a bath, and everything would be all right, and then the power would sort of switch on in his body, and the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So,
What do you mean, so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his vault.
but there's a reason that it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about
I
keeping
think
it
we
in
should.
safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I
It's
think you
not
should
his
tell us
fault.
the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it.
Do the last one. Do the last one. Carl's saying we're never doing this again because we don't appreciate it. Yeah, Carl, you don't know how good this feature is, mate.
Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on then, tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, put a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut you up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s.
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old,
I'd say.
do you know the old gramophone?
Yeah.
With the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right? So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
their
put a
album,
sock in the...
and
mute.
you'd put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know, I don't...
Do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
And, or I've hit my head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or...
not really, because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What did you take away from the Electrical Man?
I just thought, oh, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But that's not education, is it?
And it's not taking anything away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have a, you know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and you can relax. This guy can't even do that. It might be alright for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it, because at any moment, it could strike.
Yeah.
So, he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair, because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Nor can you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
Yeah.
I think he just has to sit around, because he can't work with machinery.
Right.
Because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it, what can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah.
Put a wetsuit on.
Well, he couldn't do that.
Why?
Ooh, water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry initially.
Just put a whole wetsuit on and walk round with flippers and
A
rub the
wetsuit's
top.
not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well, all I'm saying is think, do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the
And
other one
the
again?
girl's deaf for 4 years, hits her head.
Yeah. That's just,
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died? When I choked on a Mr. Freeze Pop? Right?
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's...
They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd, you know, they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh god, you know, there's no food left on a Thursday really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that!
And
That
I'd
they
be
wouldn't
like-
eat it. I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they
So-
come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you.
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
I grabbed the Mr. Freeze Pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right, and I was choking, right, and I nearly died. It must have been about, how long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do
Right,
it.
I reckon about 1:50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying? Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like...
There's loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
Whatever, right,
What do
anyway.
you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think, which elements would stand out for you, do you think?
What? Start now, go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
As a kid...
Yeah, just anything
Right,
now.
being in a hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Right, next one's probably being at primary school with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Was that your girlfriend?
Well, a little friend who was a girl.
Sure.
And we used to have like tins with letters in, and you'd have to write stuff. But anyway, what are we doing?
What? Got confused.
Right, so anyway,
I'm intrigued by the dog that was licking your face.
we'll bin that.
We won't win that.
no, it's a great
Rockbusters.
feature. I just think you need to be a little bit more careful about what you consider to be education.
Gone
All
funny.
right,
I
all
fell
right.
over.
Alright, well, I'll...
We'll work on it next week. Play a tune, and what have you got for us? Because we've got a big competition.
We've
Come
got
on.
to do the competition. We've only got 25
Yeah, well, come on
Don't
then,
worry
quick
about
then.
it, Carl.
Do
Play a
something,
tune.
play
We'll
a
come back with
tune.
Rockbusters.
We've also got Educating Ricky, where Carl educates
you.
me. The one last week, a girl, right? She was deaf, and she was had an argument with her mum, and she pushed her and she hit her head, and then she can hear again.
Yeah.
Don't know what I learnt from that.
No.
but it might be subliminal. Something might be going. It might be a metaphor that I will learn from.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
a
I might-
parable.
Yeah. So look at his face. We
So,
might as well be talking Dutch, mightn't we, Carl? Say something quick. It's radio.
I don't understand what you want from me.
Oh, we're only joking.
Right, so... Educating Ricky, I've worked a bit harder this week. We've got some good stuff.
Okay.
I'll give you the
teaser headlines later.
headlines in a bit.
Yeah. Death in Vegas. Scorpio Rising.
Featuring the voice of, is it Noel Gallagher?
Liam, innit?
Is it Liam?
Sounded a bit like him.
Liam, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, isn't it?
Excellent. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's get this show well and truly on the road. We better start educating Ricky next, Carl. What have you got for me? I can't wait for learning. I need learning. I need education.
We should just
Teach
explain,
me something.
obviously, for those that have just tuned in, Carl, tries to teach Ricky 3 things each week.
Based on the pun title.
And yeah,
Educating
each of them, just to tantalise Ricky, is, abbreviated into some kind of headline.
a cryptic clue involving a pun.
So what have you got for us this week?
They are really cryptic this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
First story, little headline, is, don't worry about him, he can handle it.
He can handle it.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit like he can handle it, but it's not. Brilliant.
Second one.
Oh, get a lobe of
I'm
Get a lobe of this.
It's a classic. So who can forget? Get a lobe of this.
Yeah. Coming soon.
And stocking 8 Waterman. Go on.
Second one.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this treatment.
I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
Alright, tantalising.
Yeah. And the last one, the police are causing a bit of a stare.
The way he looks when he says it. I wish we could see. Can't we get Carl on telly?
There's got to be a way.
We cannot. With all the cable channels, anyone can get on telly these days. Let's
Right,
let's phone up. Let's get you on Choice or something. Just just Carl.
What are you going for?
Oh, he can handle it. I think.
Don't worry about him, he can handle it.
He can handle it.
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah.
let's hear this one.
Right, are you familiar with the phrase, burning the candle at both ends?
Yeah.
Do you know how it's come about?
I know a man
Well,
who does.
I assumed that it was to get more light in the room.
How would that work?
Well, they'd put it sideways and light both wicks, so out of one candle they could get
No.
two. No, go on.
No, what it is...
I know what
is,
it means. It means you're doing too much. You're staying up too much.
Right.
You're not getting enough sleep, and you're
Well, years ago,
yeah.
when they didn't have light bulbs and that.
Oh yeah. What year is this? Literally ages ago, specifically.
Yeah, quite a bit back.
Okay.
Didn't have light bulbs and that, so they used to have candles
When
in
did the light bulb come in? Because I can't remember at the moment.
don't know.
Okay, go on.
So, yeah, so they've got a light bulb.
You're not. You wouldn't know. You're a doctor. You're not a historian. Go on.
And people who worked a lot of hours, yeah,
How many? Literally lots.
they get up early in the morning because they have to be up early,
Yeah,
and it's dark outside, so they'd light the candle,
sure.
and they'd wear it out a bit, and then they'd be getting in late as well,
Yeah.
and like, they'd be like, oh, it's dark, I'll have to light the candle again, and they're burning candle at both ends of the day. So that's where the saying comes from, burning the candle at both ends. So,
Alright.
that's a little lesson.
Yeah.
Lesson one.
Okay. Can I have?
No, you can't have
You
another
can't
one
rush
yet.
into them, Rick. You've got to.
I've got to soak
you've
in
got,
that.
You've got to soak that one in. Any questions for Carl off the back of that?
What do you think?
So people were. I mean, basically, where this comes from is people were
Literally burning the candle at both ends of the day.
Sure.
There you go. So we've still got,
Go on.
I'm committed to this treatment, and
I can't wait. This is like Christmas
Rick, I
Eve for
should
me.
just say-
It's like Christmas. I've got to open another present now. I'm excited, Carl. I'm going to learn so much from this. What's the choices again? What
Right, you've got left.
Still keep phoning your answers to
Email.
Email. Sorry, yeah.
The answers to Rockbusters.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Educating Ricky, part 2.
Right. I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
Is one.
Oh,
of them.
I've got to go for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other one is the police are causing a bit of a stare.
He still says it like it's the best thing he's ever come up with, which
Yeah.
in a way it is.
It could be. Right. Go on then. I'm committed to this treatment.
Right. Do you know the saying?
Is it just sayings now? Are they all sayings this week?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, the other one isn't. Frog in your throat.
The saying, there's a frog in your throat?
Yeah.
I assume it's when you croak a little bit. You sound like a frog.
No. Right. Might seem a bit weird, this one. Right. But years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. What is that clue? Committed to this treatment.
It's about frogs Kermitted. Kermit.
Probably works better with a K and an ER written down.
Well, also, if you'd pronounced it Kermitted,
yeah.
but not committed.
Committed to this treatment! Right, go on then.
That's
Right,
genius.
So yeah.
For what?
you go to the doctors and you go, my throat's hurting a bit.
Right.
And what they did ages ago.
Ages ago? What year was this approximately?
We are going back quite a bit with this one.
Oh, okay, go on.
And the doctor would say,
did history. Imagine years ago, go on.
and the doctor would say, right, keep your mouth open, I need to look at your tonsils. And the jaw would ache a bit, because they weren't as quick back then, because they didn't have the technology and stuff, and they'd have to, like, stare at it and study it and stuff. And, like, they get an achy jaw, right?
Keeping their mouth open.
Yeah, like you get, you know, when you eat a Mars bar or whatever, it's a bit, so, they'd sat there, and they used to always close their mouth, and it used to annoy the doctor, right?
Sure.
So what they did, they used to get a toad,
right,
and put it in the mouth.
Rubbish.
Okay, keep talking. Keep talking.
And, that way, they couldn't close the mouth, because either they'd squash it,
right,
or, apparently, you're not allowed to, lick a toad's back.
So the doctor would have them for breaking the law?
No, but it's poisonous, right? A toad's back. You should never lick a toad's back.
Sorry.
Or put it in your mouth, really.
Oh, just stop for a second.
Wait. What?
Can I just ask one question?
Go on, yeah,
just ask one question.
I've got a few, but
no,
go on.
Sure. My initial thought is, it sounds like a brilliant bit of sort of medical, knowledge there. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
My only thought is, how does the doctor see past the toad? At your tonsils?
What's he actually looking at with the mouth open? Surely the toad is
Isn't
in
it
the
like
way.
hopping around in the way?
It didn't say.
Sorry, and my first question is, was this on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Carl, that is bollocks. That is, I mean,
Well, alright then. Let's turn this round. Where does the saying, you got a frog in your throat come from?
probably because you sound a bit croaky. Probably that. Probably because you sound a little bit like a frog when you've got a sore throat.
Carl, did you not question it just for a moment when you read it? Just for a second, didn't you think, that seems an odd approach? Firstly, why a frog, of all the different
because
species?
Because it's poisonous. A toad.
So it's a toad as well?
Yeah, well, it worked. I'm committed. Worked.
No, not
No,
it's the frog in your throat.
I was gonna change it to, have you heard the news, Toad Day? But I went with the frog.
Oh, God!
Right, so
that's rubbish. So that's rubbish. Next, can I have,
Let's play a tune, let's come up with the last one.
Open wide. Oh dear, that's interesting. What is it, Doctor? Look, you've actually got a frog in your throat. I didn't get there. I put it in there. That's the most ludicrous story I've ever heard, Carl. Why don't you think when you read these things?
I think there's always going to be a bit of truth in all of these. I mean, that fella called up, didn't he, and said, I'm not sure about the, putting a frog in your throat if you got, problems with your tonsils or whatever. But he said, years ago, if someone had toothache, they'd get hold of a frog and strap it to the face.
Yeah, sure.
So, maybe, down the line, maybe they did. Maybe they didn't do it
I think Caligula made his emperor, a horse and emperor as well, but I mean, it doesn't... Go on.
Dick Anderson's been back in touch.
Excellent.
I think, so he's obviously...
We've turned him round now, he loves it now,
he's been tuning in, he says,
loves it now.
He says, Ricky, thanks for a really forgettable 2 hours of radio. I think I'll spend the time next week counting my feet. That's from Richard Anderson. So, we've turned him round.
Do you know where the phrase counting my feet comes from? Well, in the olden days, right, and I'm talking ages ago, when you really loved something, you used to, as a sign of respect, like, say, a radio show, you'd count your feet. And that's where that comes from, Carl.
Well, what about the frog thing with a poisonous back?
It's rubbish.
That's true. No, the toads have, the secretions in there.
Why?
But they didn't put it in people's mouths.
No, so, well, I'll tell you why. When a badger or a heron tastes the toad, it's horrible. Ugh. The toad might die, but it's for the good of the species, because then, think how many toads, looking like that heron could eat in its lifetime. So, the fact that one toad sacrificed itself, all those other toads, in that heron's manner, will be safe.
Why? I mean, we've talked about animals a lot on the show, right?
Yeah.
And when God made a toad...
Sure. Right, okay, well, I'm gonna stop you there, straight away.
Don't. Just let him carry on.
Right.
Okay.
Like, there's annoying things out there, jellyfish is a big problem with me. I don't understand what they do in the sea and stuff.
Right.
Right, but we'll leave them.
God's
right?
a problem for me, but go on.
We won't talk about jellyfish.
No.
With the toad, right, if it's to protect itself...
Yeah.
Right, now
it's not to protect itself, it's to protect its species.
Yeah, but that, surely, right, if the toad had a choice. If God said, right, what I'm gonna do for you here, you can have something like a lobster's got claws, big claws to have a fight. Or, I can give you something that if someone's having a go at you, you've got to try and persuade them to lick you back. As a defence.
Yeah.
What use is, right, right.
Godson.
Well, I'll tell you why.
What is God
The
up
fact
to?
that there are still toads around is a testament to that defence working. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay? If the toad had died out, you'd have a point. But they're still around. It works. Alright?
And don't start slagging God off. He's got a lot on his plate. Basically, I think he took on too much.
Particularly in 1 week.
Exactly.
Carl's getting all flustered because I put an elastic band around his head. And we've had a definition of,
Well, hang on a
frog
sec,
in the throat.
because there's an update to that, Rick.
Go on.
We did just have, one, definition here of, a frog in the throat. Apparently this has come from some, internet site, so who knows, how convincing it is, but it says frog in the throat, meaning suffering from temporary hoarseness, needing to clear the throat. Origin from the Old English frogger, meaning hoarseness. That's from Chris. Now, that sounds slightly suspect to me.
Why?
But, frogger? I mean, it seems odd that it would derive from that when it so clearly appears to be you sound like a frog when you have a sore throat.
Yeah, but the word frog could come from Frogger, because it
Frogger.
sounds like it's
I didn't know, wasn't Frogger a game you could play on the,
Yeah.
on the Spectrum?
Spectrum,
That's a great
yeah.
game. But
Yeah.
listen, hang on, there's an update to that, because, just to
common frog, of course, Rana temporara, that's the Latin name.
Well,
Your toad is Buffo Buffo. Alright?
You may be trying to show off, but I think you're about to embarrass yourself as
Go
well,
on.
because you've been slagging off young Carl.
Yeah.
It says here, another email, it doesn't tell us who it's from. Although it's hard to believe now, at one time, medieval physicians believed that the secretions of a frog could cure a cough if they were coated on the throat of the patient. That in itself sounds repulsive, but what makes the idea even worse is the application of the secretions. Instead of painting the treatment on, something which may also have seemed rational, a live frog was placed into the mouth of the sufferer, where it remained until the physician decided that the treatment was complete.
Right.
Apparently Shakespeare's son-in-law, that's a question mark, I don't know what that means. Anyway, it's no wonder that today a froggy or croaky attempt at speech is said to be a frog in your throat. So, you can see that what's happened there is Carl's misread, or been slightly misinformed about, a medieval practice. In a sense, you're both winners, just for taking part. What's your final one, Carl?
Right, the final story is, the police are causing a bit of a stir.
I can't wait.
It's about this fella, I think it's in England somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't know when it happened, but,
Literally ages ago, or?
basically, well, I think it's when they were trying to crack down on, like, drunken people walking about in the street.
Oh, yeah.
And they found this fella.
Saturday. Be Saturday, that one.
And, found this fella, and, all the local people were saying, oh, look at him wandering around, he's drunk and what have you. That's not right, get the police in. He got arrested and that, and they got him in the court. And, the judge was there, and he says, so, you know, what's all this? What's going on? What are you doing wandering about when you've had a drink? You know the rules. You shouldn't be doing that. You had a glazed expression on your face. Blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say for yourself? He only had a glass eye.
So
that
you have
was-
2 glass eyes?
No, he had one. But that was, they were about to sort of lock him up.
Was he a
What,
bit pissed
'cause he
up
had-
as well?
Well, he was pretty livid.
But was he also drunk with a glass eye?
No, that's the
right.
weird thing. He wasn't even, he hadn't even had a drink.
So they just thought, because he had a weird stare.
Because his eyes were all glazed.
Yeah. Where'd you get this from? Why are you telling me this? No, but why are you telling me this? I mean, thank you, because it's, you know, killed a couple of minutes, but why is this educating me? What are you telling me here?
Because there's a bit of a thing there, a bit of a fable, that don't always judge a book by its cover. Yeah? So, the guy, he hadn't even had a drink. He'd probably just been shopping,
Yeah.
walking down the street, and everyone's, like, getting involved, like, what's he doing? He shouldn't...
Hang on, I don't understand. He's walking down the street, happens to have a glass eye. He was doing nothing else to suggest he was drunk. You don't pick people up just because their eye looks slightly
Oh.
off.
But even if it happened, why are you telling me? With no particular detail. I know this, but then we're gonna get
It's not
people...
enough information.
I know, yeah.
No,
Oh.
there's a bit of a lesson there, educating Ricky, just, you know, just watch what you say. Don't always jump to conclusions.
But the only education I can take from that is that, if I ever do become a policeman, I shouldn't just arrest people because they look a bit drunk. I should just tap their eye with a pen and goes, oh, okay, on you go.
Well,
On you go, yeah.
Guys, can I just stop you there? I'm just going to email Richard Anderson and tell him I agree.
Come on.
right, educating Ricky.
This is my favourite bit now.
You're just going to tease us, aren't you, with 3 headlines? If you
And
like.
then I'll choose one, and then we got the other 2 as well.
Yeah, that's the way it works, and at the end of it, you learn some stuff. Like I say, I'm struggling a bit with knowledge.
Yeah.
At last he confesses.
Yeah. Go on.
So the 3 headlines for you to pick from, we've got, first one, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
I got a feeling there's some vegetables involved.
Yeah, go on.
Maybe. Second one, he's a bit of a nuisance.
Okay.
Alright?
Right.
And, third one, I'll bacon in the morning, if you're sick of having me here.
Oh, that one.
I'll bacon in the morning if you're sick of having me.
Right, I'm having that one.
That's brilliant.
Right, well, it's a saying. Do you know, cold shoulder? Giving someone the cold shoulder?
Yeah.
Right, if you have someone round at your house, and, you know, you try to get rid of them, and they're hanging around and stuff, and you're like, oh, I wish they'd go, I'm tired and that. Well, years ago,
When? Literally years ago. Well, ages ago.
sort of,
Olden times.
I think it said medieval times.
Yonks ago then, yonks ago.
Yeah. Medieval, yeah.
We're going back quite a bit on this
Well,
one.
you know when you find out these books, why don't you just pop down when it was?
Just make a note.
I don't think it says all the time, it just sort of says, you know, a few years back.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Never.
Alright, I'll make an effort next week.
Okay.
Right? So, it's annoying that, because my girlfriend said to me, just make a note at the time and they'll stop having a go at you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I kind of thought, oh, it's alright.
Didn't listen.
I don't think it matters anyway in this one. We're looking at the saying, right? So
Yeah.
it's giving someone a cold shoulder, right? And what it is, right? Ages ago, there wasn't enough houses for people.
Alright.
Because there wasn't much money being made. You know, there weren't big businesses. People weren't earning good money like they are now. So there wasn't as many houses, right? So what you ended up getting is like, you know, the rich people having a nice place to live.
Oh.
And the poor people were like wandering about, you know, looking for places to live and that. And what they ended up doing is, they had like, people would go around to the mate's house and say, look, I haven't got anywhere to live. It's a bit cold. Can you let me stay? Right? So they'd go, oh, alright, then you can stay a couple of days. But they ended up staying for like weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So, to sort of get rid of them, what they'd end up doing, they'd be making the dinner, and they'd, be making a lovely dinner, like, bit of meat, nice warm meat, and, nice veg, gravy, and
This
you know,
happened every time, did it?
No.
This is where the saying came
This is
from.
what happened, Rick.
This is
what happened.
happened every time.
It was in that vague book.
the book of vague sayings and stuff.
right, so they'd be making a nice meal, but what they did, they looked after all the family, but the person who won't go home, they just give them some, like, sort of a cut-off of cold meat.
Right.
So they'd say, you're giving them the cold shoulder,
Ah.
meaning...
Right. Okay, that's rubbish. Okay. Absolute.
Carl, why does that necessarily work?
Yeah. Why
Is it not
do they always, in every situation when you want to get rid of a lodger, well, still feed him every day, but make the meat lukewarm. So
They always leave then.
Yeah.
Oh, this food's lukewarm. I'm gonna become homeless
and they
again,
go,
wandering the
hold
streets.
on, are you giving me the cold shoulder? Yes. Do you want me to leave? Yes, just say leaving. No, I like to do it cryptically. That way, in years to come, someone will have a little saying about it.
Well, yeah, that was our bacon in the morning.
Yeah.
If you've had enough of meat, we'll leave that.
Well,
Bacon in the morning! Oh, bacon in the morning if you've had enough of me!
So,
we'll come back. What are the others? Just tease us again with the others. We'll come back to those.
You've got, he's a bit of a nuisance, and, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Nice, looking forward to that.
Look at the way when I went to school, there was 2 kids with them big heads. Now,
You don't
never see them.
Sure.
Yeah, but no one else saw them anyway, Carl. It was only you that saw 2 of them, not related, and wouldn't hang around with each other, because you think they thought it would be too obvious. Webbed fingers and big heads. That's amazing.
And there was a kid with a pigeon chest, so...
Oh yeah, and the lady with the head like a bag of spuds.
Let's not
yeah,
go through
don't
these
wanna
again.
go
It just
through that.
raises too many questions that can't be answered.
Yeah.
Right then, so, we've got, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Yeah, go on.
Is that the one you want?
Let's
Yeah.
go for it.
Right, I think this was like round the 1700s.
Bluffing.
And
Just bluffing.
Who was the king then?
Dunno.
Go on.
But it's about the word bonfire. right?
Bonfire.
Bonfire.
Yeah.
Do you know where it comes from?
No, go on.
No.
Right, what happened is it's got nothing to do with Guy Fawkes and that, which is what I thought when I saw it. It's got nothing to do with that. But ages ago, at 1700s,
Yeah.
right, didn't have enough houses, like I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if that happens, you get people living on the streets,
Uh-huh.
you get
Sure.
diseases, people aren't cleaning properly, so you get more deaths.
Mhm.
Alright?
Yeah.
So, think about it. You've got all these dead bodies lying around. They're running out of space, because there's, like, I don't know why they're running out of space. But,
Okay.
they haven't got much, I don't know why, really. I was gonna say they should have just buried them, but there's probably more land back then than now. Thinking about it.
He doesn't need anyone else in the room to have a
conversation with himself.
Yeah, we could leave and we'd come back and he'd go, I've sorted it. Yeah,
But anyway, for some reason,
They presumably, if it's going to be they burnt them, it's presumably to do that it also kills the parasite or whatever's carrying the parasite on them, as opposed to burying them and not killing the disease.
well, yeah. So that. There you go. You've worked it out. They piled them up and they turned it into a celebration because there was a lot of fed up people at that time.
Is this to be the word bon, meaning good?
No. I'll tell you in a minute.
Go on.
So you've got all these people who are like going around and like, oh, you know, so and so died the other day, and you know, nearly every week someone they knew was dying. So you can imagine like just constant like being depressed. So and they've got all these bodies lying everywhere. It's like, oh god, what are we gonna do? So they said, we're all too fed up at the moment. Said let's make this a better world.
This was 1701 by the time they got together.
Yeah.
So they said, what we need to do is have a big party. So they said, yeah,
Good thinking.
see what you're thinking. So they go, right, well, we'll put all the bodies
Yeah.
in a big pile, and they're all diseased and that, so
Yeah.
they set fire to the bodies,
Yeah.
and they said, let's have this as a celebration to remember them by, and you know, we'll have a drink and that, and have a chat, we'll have this big fire going, and it came from bone fire.
Ah, right.
So
Bone
it was
fire.
it was all the bones. Bonfire is bone fire.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's how it came about.
Yeah. In the 1700s.
Yeah.
That was.
No, probably.
Okay.
I reckon it was 1600.
Probably earlier.
I reckon it was the plague. I reckon it came from.
But interesting stuff.
Harry from Canterbury wants to know whether any of us have ever had any cruel nicknames. He claims that he's quite tall and rather hirsute, and he says he's often called Lurch or Wolfie. He's always thought that Carl looks a bit like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. No, there's no potato that round, but I suppose you could fashion a potato to be that round.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, if anyone can carve a potato into the roundest head ever, pop a couple of eyes on it.
Make it look as much like Carl as possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, any nicknames? Did you ever have a nickname, Rick?
No, mine was boring. I didn't have any. It was just around the name, like Gerv or something like that. No, I didn't have nicknames.
I always wanted a nickname. I just thought it was quite cool for some reason, particularly because gangsters always seem to have nicknames. You know,
Lefty.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Lefty, yeah. Scarface.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I thought, because no one was giving me a nickname at school, it was kind of annoying, or certainly not to my face,
Yeah.
that I decided to just come up with one.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at lunch once, and I just said to my mate Phil,
How old were you?
12, 13.
Brilliant.
I just said to him, Phil, don't know if you know, mate, but, people aren't calling me Steve anymore. Everyone's calling me Spud now. Now, I don't know why I thought Spud, it's weird we should talk about Mr. Potato Head, I don't know why I thought Spud was a cool nickname. I just sort of, I think
It's a
'cause
grown-up name, though, isn't it?
and it's also because I think it sounded like, it was probably either something that you'd find in one of those kids' books, like the Famous Five, or like the Bash Street Kids, there'd be Spud. And I always imagine with Spud, he's not the leader of the gang, but he's a reliable member.
I think
You know what I mean?
Spud is the biggest lorry driver in one particular sort of car park.
Yeah.
And here comes Spud.
Yeah.
And he gets out, all right, boys. And he's big and massive, and Spud can eat 2 breakfasts.
Exactly, yeah. But I just, in my mind, it was, that I would be one day part of a gang, and it's, I'm Pinky, this is Jojo, and the tall guy Spud.
And it didn't catch on,
it
did
never
it?
really caught. And he just went, oh yeah, right. And no one started, and I was hoping he'd go, you know, everyone's calling Steve Spud.
Yeah.
But of course-
Hey, Spud, the first time I said Spud, you go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be really proud, wouldn't you?
But I think that it kind of, actually in a way, it probably revealed that I just was probably not in people's thoughts enough. to get for the nickname to catch on, you know, because you sort of need to be a real player in the school.
I think you should have gone something more memorable. I mean, I'm not saying anything goggle-eyed freak or anything.
What?
No, just...
well, no, that's good advice, Fatty. fatty potbelly.
That's the problem, I wasn't fat at school, and I suppose Carl didn't have a round bald head at school, did you?
No.
No.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I mean, there was a lot of people on the estate that I grew up on. You know, nicknames are big things on estates and that.
Yeah.
A lot of my dad's mates, right? What their nicknames did was tell you about them. Do you know how I said about the Elephant Man's a good name?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know what you're going to get. If someone said, Elephant Man's popping round in a bit, it wouldn't be a shock when he walked in.
Yeah.
Right? So it worked in that sort of thing. You know, so there was John the Screw, right? John the Screw?
Yeah. Well, he had sex a lot, or he worked in a prison?
No, he had a DIY shop. So you had him, right? There was Fred the Veg.
Yeah.
Which is...
I assume it's because he was at the same IQ as you.
Or he was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right.
There was my uncle, Tattoo Stan.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He had like loads of tattoos that he'd just done himself.
Oh my God.
The problem was, because he did his tattoos himself, the ones on his left arm were really good. Because he was right-handed. On his right arm, rubbish. Right? So there was him.
Great.
And there was Jimmy the Hat.
Jimmy the Hat?
Yeah.
Did he always wear a hat?
No, he didn't. That was the point there. That he never wore a hat.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
How can you pick up on someone never wearing a hat? How would you ever notice? I'll tell you what, I've noticed something about Jimmy. What?
Go on.
He doesn't wear a hat. Why was he not called Jimmy the Parrot? Because he never carries a parrot.
No, but that's just the way, I mean, that's how they work in it. I mean,
Here comes Jimmy Three Legs. Why'd you call him that? He hasn't got 3 legs.
I didn't really have one apart from, like, I had a CB. You know, like when you'd go on a CB radio and have a chat to people.
Oh, this was a craze in the, was it late 70s, early 80s?
Sort of early 80s.
And, it was just short band radio, wasn't it? Everyone had these little handsets and they'd speak to each other in the sort of local area.
Yeah, it was mainly, I think it started off with like
lorry
truckers
drivers,
and
isn't it? Yeah, truckers, yeah, because there was that thing from like about 1977, whatever it was, Convoy, yeah.
Yeah, so I had one of them, and my handle, I had two
Handle
different names.
mean is your nickname, your
yeah,
name?
there's loads of code stuff.
Yeah.
I had a couple. I had there was Pilkio1, because like I said, there's a lot of Pilkingtons and that in Manchester. So I just thought, give it a number. If someone wants Pilkio2, it's open. Do you know what I mean? They can have it. And then
like it's people scrabbling. For, I want a Pilkio1.
And then because I did boxing and that.
Well, you did it once.
Yeah.
Well, I'd Boxer Boy, because I thought that's quite a good image as well. That's kind of like people going, oh, don't mess with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he asks what your handle is, tell him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Boxer Boy and that.
Yeah.
So just had them two, and I used to just go on there and.
Pointless. What is the point of this?
Well, you just meet people, don't you?
And you don't meet people. You say, "What's your handle?" You go, "Box Boy." What's yours? Rubber duck. All right, cheers.
No,
it's
but
ridiculous.
then you'll say like, then you go, oh, what's your 20?
What's that mean?
That's where are you?
Well, why don't you say where are you?
Because just in case there's someone who's listening in who you know, you hear about this all the time, don't you? People listening, jotting stuff down.
Oh, right. So, just in case someone in the world doesn't know what handle means, they're out of the loop. They're out of the loop.
It's not a difficult code to crack, is it?
Yeah.
If you're trying to track someone.
It's hardly the head of the mafia talking to each other because the FBI are on the wire. It's ridiculous. Like I go, oh, he keeps saying that, what's your handle? And they come back with something else. I can't work out what's going on.
No, it's like anything, isn't it? That's what codes are all about, isn't it? You set them up and that.
Go on and tell me the code then.
Reveal at long last to the world what these codes are.
Right, so what's your 20? Where are you?
This is better than the Enigma.
Yeah.
Right, now here we go.
Right.
How many candles are you burning?
Does that mean how big's your car or something like that? Horsepower or something?
See? No, that's
Oh,
how old
what
are you?
time is it?
No, how old are you?
What, how old are you? Okay.
Right.
Right.
How many candles are you burning, of course?
Yeah.
So what's the answer come back?
You go,
I'm 15.
14.
Brilliant. That code, there's no one gonna work that out. There is no one gonna work that one out.
So let's just play through this conversation. Give us an example of how it worked.
Right, so you turn it on and that, and you start off, and there was something that you said at the start, like
Hello.
just
Breaker.
yeah, breaker, do you copy or whatever?
Yeah.
Then someone will go.
What does what copy mean?
No,
What his name
I want
was.
to hear because I want to hear the fascinating conversations that Carl must have had.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, it's Boxer Boy, yeah.
What's
He
your
goes,
20?
What's your 20? And you go, well, just I'm in Manchester.
In the flat.
Oh, right.
And they go, all right, yeah. How many candles are you burning? You go, oh, I'm 13.
Oh.
So
And that's the end, is it?
then you might sort of say what was it? It was something like what am I burning? Right.
He's in burning again.
Confusing, but go on, yeah. What am I burning? The bacon, because I'm busy talking to you, you twat.
That's like what's my power? What strength am I coming in at?
Oh yeah.
Because then you can tell if they're quite close to you. So if you're getting someone burning a 1.
Well, you've told them. You said, "Wait, what's your 20?" You go, I'm in Macclesfield Street."
Yeah, but
oh,
then-
right.
but then you
Wonder
go-
where they are. Well, I've just told you.
Yeah,
Wonder how
but-
far away they are.
But then you go, oh, that's interesting because you're burning, burning 3. I don't normally get a 3.
The least interesting hobby
Oh, do
you
you know what
could
I-
ever do.
I wish you'd have kept a diary of this, because this has been fascinating.
Now and again, someone will come in and go side on, right?
What's that mean?
And that means like there's someone sat there listening into this chat and going, "This sounds interesting,"
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
and they want to join in, so they sort of go side on. You go side on, bring it in, right? And they go, "All right."
How many candles are you burning?
Yeah. What's your
That's
20?
it goes round again.
Yeah.
See you later. What's your 20? How many candles are you burning?
Oh.
And, I mean, it seems to me that what you should have done is made a note the first time, so that when you then speak to them again, you don't need to ask them those questions. Can I just confirm that you're burning 15? It's that time again. Do the jingle.
Oh, monkey you! Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna do a really good one.
Okay, go.
Oh, chimpanzees! Monkey news, yeah.
Right, do you know it's nearly time for the Winter Olympics again?
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
They sort of come round every 4 years.
Is it this year? Is it?
Yeah, and the last one that happened,
4 years ago. Yeah.
there was a bit of an incident.
Oh no.
Oh well, I'd know about this then, because it would be
Well, it'd be big news because it's a well-known.
televised as
event.
well.
Yeah.
It's,
Do you remember any winners that were monkeys in any of the
no,
tournaments?
of course
No,
not.
No.
So,
Yeah.
it's
So
not
anyway-
going to be that, because it wouldn't be true. Go
Oh,
on.
yeah.
So anyway, one of the popular events, bobsleigh.
Okay. Right.
You know how it works.
Well, you
It's
need
like a
4
sleigh.
men. Is it 4 men or 5
4
men?
men,
It's
yeah.
4. So it's definitely 4 men that you need
Need
on
4
a
men.
team.
Is it and there's two team bobsleighs.
But
well.
they're always men. Is that right, Rick?
Well, yeah, they have to be.
Anyway,
Humans.
Well, that's be humans. Yeah, it's the Winter Olympics for.
Yeah. So let me just clarify. With the Winter Olympics, you can't have any animals taking part.
No, and they also because they wouldn't be allowed. And 2, there's no way they could disguise it, because not only would they see it straight away, right, but they have blood tests
Right. Okay. So,
which would show up.
so they definitely know if it was
Well, they have
any
blood
kind of
tests.
non-human.
It's impossible. It would be literally impossible to have anything other than a human
Taking
involved
part.
in a bobsleigh team.
Fine. Okay. So carry on.
So anyway, this country, I don't want to name them because they try to shake off this sort of, this bad news.
Oh yeah, and you don't know.
And
It's
it
not
didn't
true. Yeah.
So anyway, the country was doing really well in the qualifying stages.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem was there was like 2 members who were getting all like the press and stuff,
Oh right, yeah.
and one of them never got a look in. Right.
How tall was he?
Anyway, so this one member was getting fed up because the other 2 were getting all the press and what have you. So he said, "I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
I'm jacking it in." So they were like, "You're joking? We've qualified. We're getting into like the main race and everything. You can't leave us now." And he said, "Well, you could do it all on your own before. The way you were acting and that, you didn't need me, so I'm going." So they were like, "Oh."
Well, they need to replace him because there's a certain amount of people needed.
So anyway, so the clock's ticking. It's getting close to the big race and
Of
everything.
course it is. Yeah.
They're like, "What are we going to do here?"
The substitute
Right?
they took with them.
What are they
Well,
going
they
to do?
must have.
Yeah, they would take the substitute. So get him
No,
on.
they didn't have any of them and that. It's,
What?
a lot of injuries and stuff.
Or just get a mate to do it. Just get a mate or a friend
Yeah,
or the coach to do it. Yeah.
But there's a lot of responsibility on these people, and you won't want to let your country down and that. And they're like, "What are we going to do?"
Get a waiter or anyone. in the
Anyway,
hotel.
the time comes for the race. Seems to be 3 people on it.
There appears to be 3. Okay. Yeah.
They start off, they're whizzing around the track faster than normal. They're beating their old records
Right. Amazing.
because the new fella they've got a little bit smaller.
Ah.
Right?
Is he in?
So
Is he in the bobsleigh? Or is he pushing?
He's in it.
Oh, right, okay.
Right?
He's wearing a uniform and a helmet though. We
He's got
can't see what he
helmet
looks like.
on.
We
He's
can't
got
see
the
his
kit
face.
on. Nobody knows who he is, but the
course they do.
country's loving it.
Of course they
They're
do.
like, well, it looks like we're going to break all our records, you know. Good. It's good that they found someone new.
Yeah.
Bet the other fella who left is sort of kicking himself, thinking, oh, I could have been part of this. Anyway,
This wasn't a bloke that had very short legs and long arms, was it?
what happened is they're whizzing round the track and what have you,
Faster than ever, yeah.
faster than ever, and the press are like going, beating all records here. They started taking photographs. Lot of flashing. Lot of flashes from the cameras and stuff.
Right, of course.
Suddenly, the bobsleigh goes a bit sort of mental and whizzes off the track, right, into like all the tyres and stuff that they have for protective.
Oh, they love tyres, don't they? Bobsleigh members. Some of them you can. Sometimes you can find them swinging in one, or maybe eating a banana.
Ambulance comes rushing over and stuff. The other two members are looking pretty nervous for some reason.
Oh, what are they doing?
They're saying, look, don't take the helmet off because, you know, you can do more damage to the
Well,
neck.
don't tell the paramedics how to do it.
They know their job.
Yeah,
they know their
yeah,
job.
yeah.
So they were
Please.
like, just you know, and plus, you know, he came in at last minute to help us out. He doesn't want everyone to know who he is. He's not after the limelight,
Yeah.
like some of the members we used to have. But he just was helping his country out.
Yeah.
Leave the helmet on. Anyway, they get him in the ambulance and stuff. The other two are looking a bit worried and what have you. They're gutted. They lost the race.
The little bloke, is the bloke not saying anything? Is he not?
He's in the ambulance now.
Is he not saying anything though?
Anyway, word got out, right, from one of the ambulance drivers a few weeks down the line, once all the dust had settled on the Olympics and stuff, and light news day and stuff.
Yeah.
It was reported that one of the ambulance drivers said that on that sort of dreadful night, when, you know, the country lost out on a medal in the bobsleigh, he sort of reported that there was a monkey in the back of the ambulance. People were like going, you're joking,
I don't
aren't
remember
you?
this. I don't remember this.
Well, this is it, you see, because they sort of swept it under the carpet a little bit.
right.
They were like, this is crazy talk.
Bullshit.
This is crazy talk.
Once talk. Absolute shit. Where'd you get this from?
This is crazy talk, right?
It is crazy talk, and it's from the mouth of Karl Pilkington.
But the weird thing is that backed it up. Following week, there was a story of some people who visited the zoo saw a chimp in a neck brace. And that's this week's Monkey News.
Bollocks. Well, that's the end of another podcast. Thanks very much from me, Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant,
Goodbye.
and Karl Pilkington.
Right.
And thanks again to those guys at Positive Internet who host this podcast, the world's #1 podcast. We'd also like to congratulate Steve Carell from the American office, who won a Golden Globe.
Yes, congratulations, Steve, and obviously everyone involved with the American Office. And for our American listeners, if you haven't checked out the American Office on NBC, it's dynamite. It really is a cracking show. I don't know if you're a fan of the original, but if you are, or even if you're not, just watch it. It's great. It gets better and better week by week. I think
It's
hilarious.
absolutely brilliant. That's NBC. I think that's Thursday nights, isn't it?
After My Name Is Earl.
That's got to be the first time a Golden Globe has been won by two different people for the same character.
I think you're probably right, mate.
Cheers.
Hey, congratulations again for winning it all those years ago.
Two.
All right.
Two.
I don't need to mention it.
two.
Don't need to
Bye.
mention it.
Hello and welcome to another Ricky Gervais show with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant,
Hello.
and Karl Pilkington.
All right.
The 9th in a series of 12 podcasts we're doing for free.
Absolutely free of charge.
We're getting we've already done over sort of 2.5 million downloads. We'll probably do 4 million downloads by the end of the series. If I had a quid,
I don't even want to discuss it, Rick.
you are gutted,
I'm
aren't you?
absolutely furious, because I said to you when we studied this, I said, why, you were going, oh, let's give something free back to the fans, and I was saying, it's not worth it, they don't deserve it. But no, you demanded it, and I wanted
You
to
did.
pay, I want to charge crazy money for
I've
it.
been a fool. We've had about something like 6,000 emails as well. If we could channel this to good, because you know what I mean. This internet has been set up. Billions and billions and billions of dollars go on this cyber highway back and forth, doing good stuff, communicating, sending people into space, commerce, and people, hundreds of thousands of people are sending me pictures of Karl as a monkey.
I know, exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's not what this system was created for.
Thank you for all your emails as well. That cost us as well a little bit because they're going through the website, which costs us a little bit of money.
But it also costs me my precious time, having to wade through the crap that gets sent to us.
Thanks to Kieran Gabriel from Merseyside who sent me a picture of Karl as Bruce Willis. It's the effort. We'll put all these up on the website. David Weinstein has started his own T-shirt range. I could eat a knob at night. And Paul Devon has sent me this caricature of Karl, and it's brilliant. Again, I think they're wasting their energies. It's actually a brilliant painting of a little round, bald-headed Manx, some sort of like freak creature.
Yeah.
Whereas he could have done a beautiful painting. But thanks to all those.
I mean, I have actually waded through the emails, and I obviously, again, like Ricky, I echo the thanks for sending in all the different questions and comments about the show. And there's so many, it's impossible to obviously even reply to them or talk about them. But a couple of that have struck me. Emily from New York has asked Carl this: Carl, if you were on a sinking ship, or you were in a burning building, and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us. I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us.
Yeah.
Who would you save? Would it be Ricky, or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
the girder.
Yeah, he dies, so he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What, because Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're gonna have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's gonna go under and drag you down, and you're gonna die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen,
But he won't be around for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well,
Forget him.
Bear in mind this, Carl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind up. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping you out.
Oh, there we go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What? What?
The time when we went for a coffee, and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50p change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p, and you decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I wanted to be generous, that's my decision, but you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who
But you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
No, but that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything, it doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well, listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Can we say on the website? Can you just do a little explanation of why on the website? Can they... We'll think about it, and
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then so the conclusion is
okay, all right,
something like that.
Go to rickygervais.com. Well, I've been waiting for this for a week. It's a regular feature now. When we read from Carl's diary, Carl decided to keep a diary. He's gone through with it. I can see it there. It's massive. It's a huge desk diary that he has to carry around with him, and. The pages are getting full up. You're really keeping to this.
Yeah.
Right, this is extracts from Carl's diary.
Did podcast and went for an Italian with Ricky and Steve. Italian place is good. We've been there a few times. I always have the same thing, spaghetti. Can't remember what everyone else had. Last time we went there, Steve had little octopuses with pasta. You could see that they were octopuses. They hadn't been cut up or anything. My rule is that I only eat stuff that looks nice when it's alive. A cow, a chicken, some fish. An octopus is an odd-looking thing alive. Even worse when it's dead and limp. It looks like it just shouldn't have been sat in the spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree with that!
Ricky drew another picture of my head. We've given a few of them away as prizes, but he draws so many of them that they won't be worth as much anymore. Everyone will eventually have one. Like those pictures of a boy crying that caused houses to burn down in the 1980s.
What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember if you're listening in America, they might not have made it over there.
Is it the sort of like the sugary ones with kids? Like, is it Techikov or something?
It's just some kid. My auntie Nora had one, and it was just like a kid with like a blue jumper on, and it's like a painting, not a photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and he's just crying.
like a chocolate box. It's really awful, sort of sugary.
And what happened is they found out that a load of houses were being set on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the weird thing was,
oh, it's bollocks.
every house that burnt down had that photo.
Yeah, because every house had that picture in the fucking 70s and 80s. Idiot. It's like, we're linking it to sinks. Every house that's ever burnt down had a sink. You're talking shit again. Carry on.
Wednesday. Saw a homeless bloke. I'm surprised that no companies have thought about sponsoring the homeless. Something like a clothing company. Give them some clothes that have an advert on the back. Everyone's a winner.
Good idea.
Not bad, is it?
Got on the tube to Camden. Read in a free newspaper that hedgehogs could be gone by 2025. I think I've seen more dead hedgehogs than alive ones anyway, so I don't think I'll miss them. Went round to Ricky's house and had a game of pool. It should have been nice and relaxing, but Jane gave me some cake, and Ricky said I can't play pool if my hands are all sticky from
No,
cake.
it was the sugar. And it wasn't that either. After he'd finished it, they weren't just sticky. He was licking his fingers, sucking his fingers off, and then was going to pick up pool cues and touch things. And I was thinking, go and wash your hands after licking your hands. You're not a cat.
This turned into an argument when I said I didn't want to wash my hands.
Why didn't he?
He goes for a piss all the time without washing his hands, and then squeezes my head. I know I prefer to have lemon cake crumbs on my head than knob juice. Was going to do a crossword, but I'm tired and have learnt enough today.
What have you learned?
Well, the stuff about hedgehogs and that.
Oh, God.
Was on my way to my mates, and I got on a train. Got close to a station, but realised I needed a wee. Was about to go in a cubicle when a blind man with a dog, who was bumbling his way through the walkway, came around. I said, "Are you after the toilet?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on your right." I shouldn't have let him go first, as he took ages, and it would be my stop soon. The dog waited outside the cubicle. I was going to stroke it, but then I remembered someone telling me that you shouldn't. Don't know why
not?
that is.
Because something to do with the owner should be the only one who sort of deals with that dog, and you shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't stroke it because you'll cover it in fucking lemon cake.
No, but just because, you know, if you stroke it and that, it might like me and want to go off with me, and he'll come out and be lost and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but I just thought.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
A few people have sent this in, including Paul the Party Animal Parker. I wonder if anyone else in his school... I mean, for some reason we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late.
Sure.
And the boss, who's in an overall, go, "Parker, you're late again." He goes, "Yeah, talk to the hand." Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, "Listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all."
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke goes, You stupid idiot, you can't work there." He goes, "Chill out, man," and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, he just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul, and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered, from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. That you know, you take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, you know, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
so if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself.
But
because
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue and they said, here's some faces you can have, pick which one you want.
Yeah.
Would you be looked upon badly if you go, do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face? Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone...
Yeah, I know, but at some point... Well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to...
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What, do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
But where did this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
people- where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these...
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that, I don't like the look of him, he looks a bit shifty, I don't like that, oh no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we'd passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. You know, it's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.